to the Crisis Report. It is December 28th, 2024. Whoosh. And we are, well, there's a lot of things going on, and I think the most concerning thing is that I feel like I'm the only person talking about it. Amir Sarfati is talking about it, so that's good. There's a couple channels on Telegram that are talking about it, but that's about it. And what I'm seeing is incredibly distressing. And as our administration is gallivanting and giving more weapons of war, we should be worried about some of the oldest groups and tribes of people in known Christendom, and what is going on to them. I mean, these are people that speak Aramaic, the language of Jesus. And they are in a really, really terrible way right now. So, I don't know if your churches are talking about this. I don't know if anybody in your communities, but some of the oldest Christian groupings that have ever resided on earth are being targeted and having really terrible things happen to them. And the only place that I'm seeing it is on Telegram, and then me regurgitating what they're saying to you. And other than that, I mean, I'm really not hearing any other places talk about it. So, please, tell people about what I'm doing here, but tell people about the Christians that are in Syria that are in trouble. And there are a lot of them. Major, major problems going on. So, we're going to detail that. There was a terrible plane accident in Korea. Pakistan and the Taliban, they've been popping off against each other. That's not good. You know, the Ukraine is still doing what Ukraine does. There's a lot of, more money going to them. And then Israel is, I don't know what's going on. The internet's been kind of choppy, which doesn't make sense because, to be honest with you, we have really impressive internet here. Have to for my wife. So, I don't know. I'll just keep chopping my feet and going for it. You guys just keep doing the things and telling people what's going on and try to get them to come on over. We got a bunch of new free subscribers here. We're about to go past 500. That's awesome. So, all kinds of stuff is going. Yeah, I know I'm buffering, Lonnie Beatty. I know. That's why I'm kind of talking. I'm hoping it'll work itself out. Buffering in and out. Okay. Well, yeah, might be bad storms. So, okay. Thank you, Warrior. Kanito Warrior. Yeah. Says been acting strange. And, it really is. It might be. I somehow got through my earlier stream. So, you know what? We're going to do what we always do here. I'm just going to lay it down. I'm going to just start it going. Okay? So, please, tell people what's going on here. And we will do what we do. Okay? All right, friends. This is your crisis report for December 28th, 2024. During the night, northern Gaza continued to burn as more and more terror tunnels were demolished. You can't even begin to imagine the unbelievable amount of time, effort, money that they put into those things. And, that is Amir Sarfati, and that is where we are starting. We're starting with Amir Sarfati. China launched its first Type 076 amphibious assault ship, the Sichuan, with a displacement of 40,000 tons. Type 076 features a full-length flight deck, EMALS, enabling it to launch fixed-wing aircraft, including UCAVs. Bridges the gap between amphibious assault ships and carriers. Syria, lynchings in the streets. Dispatchings without any restrictions of pro-Assad Alawites. This is the people I'm talking about. Rebels are I'm not going to get into the gory details. You can read this on the crisis report because I don't need to get the code words rolling, but there are all kinds of nasty things. Hopefully you can read what is on your screen there. It's simply unimaginable. The world leaders make their pilgrimage to Damascus. This is true. To greet the new unelected leader and his gangs, and they are doing these things. Most of the videos I had watched in the past few hours are so bad that even Telegram has taken them down. I have taken one video onto my Subscribe Star and Locals of what is going on, and that's all I'll show. It's bad. So one guy is no longer with us, but he performed the Holy Prayer in Aramaic. I've never seen it done before. That's the language of Jesus. I've saved it, and I might try to put it out there for people, but it is really terrible what's going on. New governor of Damascus, Maher Mahwan, said in an interview with American Public Radio that we want peace. We don't want to be Israel or anyone's adversaries. He also called on U.S. facilities to facilitate a better relationship between them and Israel. Interview, he added that Israel may have felt fear, and that's why it advanced a little in the buffer zone, bombed a little. It's natural fear. We are not afraid of Israel, and we don't have a problem. We have no desire to intervene in anything that would threaten Israel's security. There are people here who want to live in confidence, coexistence, and want peace. There are a lot of people believe out there that a lot of what happened in Syria was kind of happened through some mitigation and help of Israel. Power plant in Ras Khatib, Yemen. One of the buildings more than 150 meters long, completely destroyed. Fuel tanks nearby remained undamaged. Third strike on the power plant since the attacks began. If you look at the satellite images, in the first on July 20th, 2 oil tanks were destroyed. Second, September 29th, 3 more tanks and 2 buildings were destroyed. Small channel Al Hadath reports Lebanese authorities have arrested several members of the Assad family. Among them were the granddaughter of Rafat al-Assad, the ousted dictator's uncle, and her mother. The 2 related to Darid al-Assad, Bashar al-Assad's cousin, were allegedly caught using fake passports. I would not want to be them right now. South Korea's parliament has impeached acting President Han Duck-soo just 2 weeks after impeaching President Yoon Suk-yeol. Korean politics are weird. Air Force Commander Major General Tomer Bar said this morning, we attacked 7 crossings on the Syria-Lebanon border. We realize that they are trying to check us and bring weapons once again. They're trying to raise their heads and check how well we are enforcing these understandings. We must not accept this. IDF, following the alert issued by Nir Am, 4:31 p.m., 1 launch was detected that crossed into Israeli territory from the northern Gaza Strip and fell in the open area. 24.6 million Sudanese are in urgent need of food aid. 150,000 have been killed. 11 million have been displaced. That's a famine. And did you know? You probably didn't. You're probably not hearing about it outside of the crisis report. Excuse me. Israeli airstrikes target former Syrian Arab army weapons and ammunition depots in Daraa Governorate. White House says that Hamas remains the main obstacle to reaching a ceasefire agreement in Gaza and refuses to move forward on the bridge to gaps. Saudi Arabia announced a $500 million aid package to the Aden-based Yemeni government, which was forced out of the capital, Sana'a, by Iran-backed Houthis in 2014. These are some of the unbelievable atrocities that are going on. Syria rebels saw a civilian in Latakia and asked him, "Are you Alawite or Sunni?" He answered Alawite, and he is no longer with us. Starting Saturday, a series of military drills will begin in Iran, you'll see our defensive power is not diminished, contrary to what the enemy claims. It's psychological warfare, but is actually increased. That's according to Aziz Nasir Zadeh. October 26th, retaliatory strikes again against Iran. Israel took out nearly the entirety of Iran's air defense system, according to Western officials, including the UK's Chief of Defense Staff. Widespread alerts in the Jerusalem area, Judean mountains, Gush Etzion, Hebron, and the Dead Sea, and Arad as a result of launch from Yemen. Incoming chairman of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, Brian Mast, says Hamas has two options once Trump is in office: surrender and release all the hostages, including 7 Americans, or meet the same fate as Sinwar and Nasrallah. You might remember Mr. Mast. He was in full IDF uniform on one of his trips into Congress in support. He is an IDF soldier as well. Finnish border guard, SIU, seized the tanker Eagle S, part of Russia's Shadow Fleet, suspected of damaging the Estlink 2 power cable in Baltic Sea. Reports suggest it was equipped with advanced surveillance devices, effectively functioning as a Russian spy ship. Several Assad militia remnants and suspects were arrested in Sitmarko, Latakia, with weapons and ammunition seized. Syrian military operations forces and Interior Ministry sweeps continue in the area. All the above is a soft way to say that the rebels are actually taking out the Alawites. So, yeah. It's funny how some channels are framing this. Russia is an unusual announcement, so the U.S. and Britain are planning a terrorist attack on Russian bases in Syria. Russia accepts responsibility for the Azerbaijani airline plane crash. Phone call between Russian President Putin and Azerbaijan's President Aliyev. Putin apologized for the incident. According to the Kremlin, Putin explained to Aliyev that the Azerbaijani plane was hit while Russian air defenses were confronting Ukrainian drones. 70 officers of the fallen Assad regime who fled to Lebanon were handed over to the new Syrian government, so they're effed. Report from Yemen, U.S. military attacks from the air in Hajjah province in northern Yemen. Russians are taking U.S.-made Abrams tanks for reverse engineering. Russians brought a U.S.-made M1A1SA Abrams main battle tank captured from Ukraine to the Ural Vagonzavod tank plant in Nizhny Tagil. Someone continues to massively cut communications cables in the Baltics. NATO said on Friday it would boost its presence in the Baltic Sea after suspected sabotage this week of an undersea power cable and 4 internet cables, while Estonia launched a naval operation to guard a parallel electricity link. President Trump reveals that Bill Gates requested to visit Mar-a-Lago on Friday night. Russians started equipping Jaran drones with... Hold on real quick. There you go. Russians began equipping Jarans with artificial intelligence, Ukraine's ambassador to the EU, Vsevolod Chentsov, told Politico. This makes them difficult to jam using electronic warfare, since attack drones themselves recognize the target and strike, for example, at power plants. Danish Prime Minister says she is stockpiling food for fear of Russian aggression. Well, look at you, Tammy Lou. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Finnish Special Forces seize Russian Shadow Fleet tanker Orel S that allegedly damaged important European cable Estlink 2. Elon Musk had a mental breakdown and blocked all the accounts that criticized him regarding the immigrants from India that he plans to flood the U.S. with. He announced that he would go to war with anyone who opposes. This is a big fight that's kind of going on in the MAGA movement, if you want to call it that. I don't know what to call it. Elon, who is not an American by birth, he is a South African. He's an African American, if you will. And then, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy also. They believe H-1B visas are very important and should be a part of it. Trump has kind of backed them, but he came out tonight and said, you know what, if you look at my past, we, hindered the program. And so this is kind of becoming a fight. And of course, all the Democratic media is going, balls deep and doing everything they can to promote it and make it feel like there's a bunch of infighting in MAGA world, which is a little bit of it. We'll see how it plays out, Just remember that H-1B visas and that immigration, those are people that are coming legally. Like they're doing all the things that they're supposed to do. And they're not coming over the border. So there is a bit of a difference. And a lot of these people do have skills. Now, the question that has been had is whether they have better skills than those coming out of American universities and of American origin. I can't tell you that, yay or nay. I've seen some statistics that say American trained are better. So I hope they hash it out and figure it out and make it so, it works out for everyone. Another horrible video comes from Syria where modern, progressive, unarmed, diverse, democratic, advanced terror, supported by NATO and Israel, are chasing minorities and making them bark and curse Assad. This is a video of about 30 of them on the ground, literally barking like animals. And that's one of the tame videos. Okay? Putin apologized to Azerbaijani president for tragic incident in Azerbaijan Airlines crash. Says Russian air defenses were responding to Ukrainian drones. Russian Space Agency announced that the first nuclear-powered plant will be delivered to the moon by 2033-35. Canadian woman has told Justin Trudeau to F off. God, get out of here. It's so funny. She comes out and she's like, oh, how you doing? Oh, what's this all about? Why don't you go F off? And then basically told me to get out of BC. Pretty funny. Yesterday, Ukraine managed to capture North Korean military personnel in the Kursk Oblast. South Korean intelligence agencies confirmed that the Ukrainian forces have captured the North Korean military personnel. Today, the North Korean fighter succumbed to his injuries. Taliban announced the start of a military operation against the Pakistani armed forces, and this is where this all started. Taliban has reportedly launched an offensive on multiple fronts of the Durand Line, especially from the coast province. I'll give it a moment. Yep. Buffer boy. All right, drink. Yes, drink. Every time you got to drink. Tasty mid-production beverage. So illegal. So yeah, this is all about the Taliban. The Taliban's doing nasty things. Taliban and Pakistan are basically starting to pop off, okay? Taliban forces reportedly storming Pakistani border villages, being claimed the forces are in control of a few Pakistani checkpoints, back and forth, tit and tat. Taliban Ministry of Defense says that 19 Pakistani soldiers have been killed. Now, there was a report of an aircraft being taken down. That's been proven to be BS. Right now, this is about where it stands. Probably just a border skirmish. But the problem with Pakistan is that Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Okay? When I was doing my geopolitical degree, the main place they thought, this is, 15 years ago, the main place that they thought that a nuclear war would happen would be between Pakistan and India, okay? Because they both have nuclear weapons, and they thought this is where it's going to happen. So thankfully that hasn't happened, but whenever things start popping off with the word Pakistan involved, it kind of makes the back of my hairs, neck hair raise up, because these people have nukes, and they're not really good stewards. So Houthis claim to have shot down a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone. Those are many millions of dollars. South Korean domestic airliner lost control while taking off and has reportedly crashed. Initial reports coming in of no survivors. There are some. We'll get there. There are reportedly 181 souls on board, 175 in the flight list, 6 crew. Boeing flight was reportedly in the process of landing, not taking off, Prior footage shows that a bird struck the airline's critical landing gear, which then malfunctioned on landing. I have the video on PrepperNow, SubScribeStar, and Locals slowed down of the bird hitting it. And sure enough, something went through the right jet. It was a bird strike for sure. And plane went down. It was bad. So they say the two are alive. They're finding more. I'll have the final number at the end. I think it's 61 or 68. It'll probably keep going up, which is good, but it was a nasty, nasty plane wreck. German President Steinmeier of the SPD on the upcoming elections says external influence is a danger to democracy. Whether it is covert or open and blatant, it is currently being practiced, particularly intensively, on the platform of X. Oh, no! Klaus? Where are you? Klaus! Slovakia will consider halting electricity supplies to Ukraine if Kiev stops the transit of Russian gas to the country. Biden admin is going to send another $1.25 billion in weapons to Ukraine before Orange Man Bad gets into office. Elon Musk tells opponents of H-1B visas to F themselves, and that he's prepared to go to war for foreign labor in the United States. President-elect Trump told the Post Saturday. Now, they're saying that he didn't know the full story. So, before I get started, Trump told the Post on Saturday he supports immigration visas for highly skilled workers, appearing to side with Elon in the roiling intra-MAGA debate. I guess that's the best way to put it, an intra-MAGA debate. That's really what it is. I've always liked the visas. I've always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them, Trump said by phone, referring to H-1B program, which permits companies to hire foreign workers in specialty occupations. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I have been a believer in H-1B. I have used it many times. The H-1Bs are the greatest visas on the planet. No other visa like a H-1B is the best visa. I got to tell you, the H-1Bs are great. You get the point. Alawite officers extradited by Lebanon to Syria are being transferred to Tartus prison, and I don't think they'll be there for too long. Nope. Come on, Tube. Where's it at? There we go. Okay, you got to drink again. All right, let's try this again. A state in the Middle East that rhymes with Smith says he completed a joint operation. Sometimes that'll trigger things. To Hamas terror headquarters at Gamal Adwan Hospital. Forces arrested more than 240 of the terror, following intelligence information that the hospital had returned to being used as a stronghold. Even though there have been calls to refrain from military use of medical facilities. They do this, they use medical facilities in schools because, well, it's not really a good look when you strike those. During the operation in the area, the forces arrested more than 240 Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, terror, and other suspected people, medical staff. Some tried to escape in ambulances. Among those detained for questioning were the hospital director, who is suspected of being an operative of the group. You get the point. So now they're starting to go back to the hospitals. Turkish army has begun attacking dozens of Kurdish villages in the north of the country. Oh, lovely. They were like, hey, Alawites, you can't just be the only ones. We got to throw our hat into the old G-side game. Israel is carrying out a large-scale offensive in southern Syria at the moment. The new HTS terror group in control of Syria refuses to stand in their way. Israeli forces are storming 7 cities in northern Syria at once: Al-Qanetra, Ruchanin, Batna, Jabata al-Kashab, Turnaj, al-Hamadiyah, and Ufaniya. Offensive comes just days after UN peacekeeping forces arrived in southern Syria following the partial withdrawal of Israeli troops. Israeli forces also advanced north into Kantara and Taibeh, southern Lebanon. Despite the ceasefire, There were reports of gunfire and explosions as well as Israeli troops demolishing civilian homes. Death toll in the South Korean plane crash risen from 47 to 62, according to Yonhap. Netanyahu has been diagnosed with a urinary tract infection resulting in a benign prostate enlargement, surgery tomorrow. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier dissolved the Bundestag and set snap elections on February 23rd. First of all, he said something. Remember when the Reichstag? You remember that? Anyway, Greece is going to provide Ukraine with RIM-7 Sea Sparrow anti-aircraft missiles. Abu George. Now, this is the one. This is where it gets bad and not good. Abu George. Emalulan reciting the Lord's Prayer in Western Neo-Aramaic. Aramaic was the language of Jesus Christ. So this would happen to him a few days ago. Perpetrators are almost undoubtedly local G's. And they are saying they need to arm Syrian Christians now because they're in a lot of dangerous. Today I received this message from a dear friend from the beloved town of Maula regarding Abu George. I will convey it to you as I receive it. Good morning, Charles. Uncle Abu George's heart stopped 2 days ago after they took his farm and attacked his grandson. He was very sad about Ma'alua and couldn't bear it. He is now in God's hands. We need your prayers. So, a lot of nasty things are going on in this area. I've got that prayer now. I'll try to share it somewhere. Probably on PrepperNow. Israeli Channel 12 unveils details about the hit of Ismail Haniyeh in Iran. Haniyeh's routine of staying in the same room during every visit to the Tehran allowed Israel to locate and target him. For the operation, Israel deployed a much larger bomb than those used in prior. Explosive device responsible for Haniyeh's death was hidden in his personal pillow. His hit was one of the most dangerous and sensitive operations in the history of Mossad. And wonderful, leaked HTS recording. These are people running Syria now. Commands followers not to record videos of the, quote, clearing operation. Looks like they got to clean stuff up, folks. Amidst media outrage over videos of sectarian massacres of Alawites in HTS's clearing campaign in the coast, the video has circulated showing an apparent HTS commander and its soldiers do not record these attacks, while not disavowing the action itself and even saying they heal their hearts from the Quran. From his dialect, he seems to be from Idlib or Aleppo. So, not good. Same post. People are now calling the Christian fighters that defended jihadist criminals and Shabiha and demanding their handover. Everyone that is labeled Shabiha in the new Syria is killed immediately. Entire Christian populations are now being labeled as such. Syrian leader Ahmed al-Shara held a meeting with businessmen and industrials in Syria. It was reported earlier that the new Syrian government would follow a free market approach to the economy. It's a Syria for everybody, unless you're an Alawite Christian. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan had a phone call with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. I'm sure they had lots to talk about. Stated the PKK-YPG terror organization cannot be allowed to exist. What do you mean by that? Oh, that's right. It's G-side year. So they support the efforts of the new Syrian administration to ensure the territorial integrity and security of Syria. How about protecting people's lives for their religious faith? Minister Fidan stated that more than efforts should be made to achieve a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Why don't we start locally and keep it from massacres, okay? Ukrainian F-16 flew somewhere over Ukraine. So far, U.S.-made F-16s have been used for air defense, intercepting cruise missiles and kamikaze drones. No confirmed use for offensive strikes yet. China surprised by reaching 600 nuclear warheads, creating a new weapons to breach U.S. defense systems. United States Air Force F-16 fighter over Alaska scrambled to intercept a Russian Air Force Sukhoi aircraft, but was harassed on an extremely short distance. I saw a video of it. It was extremely close. Estonia will ask NATO to send a deterrence fleet to the Baltic Sea after an undersea cable was severed. Prime Minister Christian Michael said it is expected that Estonia will also protect their undersea communication cables with its own naval assets, namely 4 patrol ships of different classes, a mine layer, Wambola, compared with 3 other minesweepers and 2 patrol boats of the Estonian Navy. Since the beginning of December, the Yemeni armed forces have launched 10 hypersonic ballistic missiles and several drones towards Israel. The early morning, while everyone was sleeping, a new attack drove them from their beds to their shelters. And yeah. North Korean special forces have been sent to Russia. Captured letter from a POW reveals. Sorry, North Korean special forces are there. I was promoted to the rank of sergeant major in my company, the letter said. Ukrainian SSO fighters got the NK sergeant major in Kurushchina, Smolensk Oblast, Russia. Noteworthy, Belarusian President Lukashenko already said that if fighting will take place in the border area of the Union State, common Belarus-Russian border, Minsk will be forced to use nuclear weapons. Well, according to locations, Ukrainian soldiers are in Smolensk Oblast on the border areas of the Union State. Russia's withdrawal from the agreement on the multilateral nuclear ecological program, law and denunciation, was signed by Putin. Pro-Russian cyber attack in Italy. Websites of the Farnesina and Milan airports were hit, claimed by the no-name 057 hacker group. Among the targets also Siena Mobility, Torinese Transport Group, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Federotrasporto, Milano Malpensa Airport, Milan Linet Airport. Germany, President Steinmeier threatens election could be annulled. Foreign influence is currently underway, he says. President referred to ex-CEO Musk, who took influence in the upcoming elections. And according to the Bild, external influence is a threat to democracy. A threat to democracy, explained Steinmeier, whether it's covert or presumed. A threat to democracy. Back? All right, cool. Pakistan Air Force on high alert as military escalation with the Taliban is ongoing in the disputed Waziristan region of the border with Afghanistan. Military drills across the country of Iran started today to show that their defense capabilities remain strong. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump may force Ukraine to sign a peace agreement without security guarantees during his term, and may also ease sanctions against Russia, according to the Financial Times newspaper, writes, suggesting what the policy of the elected American president may lead to, and ending it all in the doom voice. Breaking. China confirmed cases of H3N3 avian flu. Northern Chinese Jiangsu province. Yes, confirmed cases of H3N3 avian influenza virus in northern Chinese Jiangsu province. The H3 subtype of avian influenza virus stands out as one of the most prevalent subtypes, posing a significant threat to public health. Yes. Yes. The doom voice. All right, friends. So yes, the H3 subtype is out and about, prevalent, posing a significant threat to public health. Ready for bed. That's your crash report. 12/28/2024. Syrians are in trouble, folks. The Christian Syrians. So tell people about it. I know we have fun. We play around sometimes. But that is as serious as a heart attack. So people need to know. That's why we covered here. Okay? All right, well, that's your crisis report for 12/28, 2024. Hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, get the notifications, yada to the yada to the yada. Go on to X, go on to Twitter, go on to Truth, go on to Minds, go on to Gab. And also check me out on Subscribestar and Locals, a few dollars a month. Get you some of the cool stuff that might turn your stomach sometimes. There's some bad stuff. I'll tell you, I'll warn you, I'll say graphic, whatever. But man, there's some things, that's why I have it. It's a mad, mad world. And we covered it all here on the most comprehensive news on YouTube, the Crisis Report. God bless, friends. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Hit that like button before you leave. Love you. Bye.